Human beings, it seems, are at their best when immersed deeply in something challenging. Cal Newport. High quality, focused work seems harder and harder to accomplish these days. Either we're in an office with people moving around, talking, attending meetings, or recruiting you to fight whatever fire is on the table currently. Just as difficult, we're at home where the comforts of TV, pets, and food all fight for our attention over that of work. And even more troubling, by allowing yourself to fall into habits of distraction, you make it harder to focus for long periods of time in the future. This downward spiral of distraction and lack of focus gets worse and worse. In Cal Newport's book, Deep Work, he explains why deep work is so important to our ability to create meaningful products and ideas. He also spends quite a bit of time suggesting ways to shift the balance back to deep work and practice this level of focus. His first concept is deep work versus shallow work. To understand why deep work is so important, first we want to define it and its counterpart, shallow work. Deep work is made up of professional activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that push your cognitive abilities to their limits. These efforts create new value, improve your skill, and are hard to replicate. On the other hand, shallow work is made up of cognitively non-demanding, logistical-style tasks that are often performed while distracted. These efforts tend not to create much new value in the world and are quite easy to replicate. See, anyone can perform shallow work. It's not hard, does not require special skills or attention, and really don't make you or the work that you've done more valuable. Only through deep work do we perform at a level that sets us and our work apart from others. The next concept is how multitasking and distraction kill productivity. It's probably not surprising to you that dropping what you're doing to scroll through social media isn't great for your efforts to be productive. The fact that distractions in the form of TV, phones, and email hurt our ability to be productive isn't surprising. On the other hand, how often have you heard someone brag about the fact that they are a good multitasker? Multitasking is actually a myth, and one that severely limits your ability to be productive on the most important task at hand. In 2009, a study was done at the University of Minnesota showing that when you switch from task A to task B, some of your attention stays with the first task. This means that instead of being focused on task A or B, you're focused on both. This division of your focus makes it impossible to be completely zoned in on the one thing and limits your productivity on both. In order to be as productive as possible and reach a state of deep work, you must focus on one task at a time. Now, let's talk about strategies for getting to deep work. One of the biggest problems with getting to deep work is that more and more in our lives, workplaces, and attention is being fought for and divided. Social media websites have spent tons of money in research on making themselves more addictive. To fight back, here are some strategies that Newport suggests to help you work more deeply. 1. Disable all notifications, pop-ups, and incoming calls. 2. Become harder to reach. Use email filters and autoresponders to manage reply expectations from clients and coworkers. 3. Quit social media. This might be tough at first, but extremely beneficial in the long run. 4. Work in a quiet place. 5. Work at quiet times. And 6. Limit internet access during work times. The information that you need can be gotten from the internet before work times, so it won't be a distraction later. While these strategies will take time to implement and perfect, even instituting a few of them can greatly increase your productivity, and they will all become easier with time. Next, selective use of technology. Smartphones, email, and the internet, social media, they all bring so much entertainment and convenience to our daily lives that it can be hard to picture them as a bad thing. But when it comes to productivity, they are something that must be managed effectively and efficiently. When you are trying to work, it's a good idea to put your phone on airplane mode, turn it off, or put it in another room altogether. During sessions of deep work, there is nothing good that your phone can do for you. Also, turn off and block notifications from the internet and email accounts. Very few, if any, emails need to be answered now. Important ones can wait an hour or two until a deep work session is ended, and most fall into the category of shallow work. And finally, stay off social media. The author promotes deleting social media altogether. If you don't want to go that far, go for a 30-day cleanse of social media, or at the very least, block these sites during the work times and limit your daily consumption to 15 or 30 minutes. Finally, manage your calendar. The last concept that we thought was extremely helpful and interesting was Newport's thoughts on scheduling and planning. The first thing he promotes is planning around your free time, not around your work time. This means that you'll take time for your hobbies, family, friends, meals, and sleep first. With all the focus on deep work, it is important to remember that work, money, these are a means to an end, even if you enjoy your job. If you could retire tomorrow, how would you spend your free time? When you aren't working, act as if you are already retired and use your free time to do the things that you may otherwise push off for years. His next point is to set a quitting time and stick to it. This uses the concept of Parkinson's law to our benefit. Parkinson's law states that work will expand to fill the time that is allotted to it. Thus, if we know we only have until 4 p.m. to finish a task, it will likely take us till 4 p.m. If you plan to call it a day at 4 p.m., stick to that commitment and fill the hours between 4 p.m. and bedtime with free time and your retirement-like activities. Don't pick up your computer and do more work after dinner just because you can. His last point on managing his calendar is to eliminate shallow work. Shallow work is busy work. It's not productive or beneficial. Find ways to filter this work out or delegate it to somebody else. When you are working, your goal is to complete deep work, and the rest of the time should be free time. Shallow work simply takes away from one of these two areas. Remember, human beings, it seems, are at their best when immersed deeply in something challenging. The best part of this book was that I picked it up looking for a way to make my work life more productive. And by following just a few of Cal's principles, I was not only more productive at work, but I had suddenly created more free time as well. I hope that you enjoyed this summary of deep work. Do you have a suggestion for a book, idea, or quote that we should animate? We'd love to hear your ideas, so please leave them in the comments below, along with hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel for notifications when we publish new videos.